Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Everybody here in Ahavas Shalom Ramat Bet Shemesh. We're about to start yet another amazing Amud Gemara in Maseches Bava Metzia, and we are in Daf Kuf Beis Amud Aleph in the bottom of the page. Today's Amud is Kuf Beis Amud Beis, but we are still in Kuf Beis Amud Aleph right now in the Mishnah, starting a new and exciting Mishnah. I have some debts from yesterday, questions that were asked yesterday and I didn't answer. The question was yesterday, Tzvi asked the question, is there a bracha and shiluach haken? A very, very big question, machlokes, polemic between the Rishonim and Achronim. Some people say there is no bracha and shiluach haken because it's like a lav combined with an assay, and because of it's not a mitzvah you have to do, it's only mitzvah you sometimes do. And if you want to have the birds and you don't really look for it, although people nowadays do, but originally the Gemara says you're not supposed to look for a ken in order to be meshaleach, which brings a question. There are many things you don't have to do, but you still make a bracha, like shchita, like netilas yadayim. I don't know. Many say you do have to make a bracha. The pshara is that you make a bracha without Shem Malchus. Yeah, you say bracha to Hashem Elokeinu rather than saying the actual name of Hashem. So that is the right. Regarding the other question you had yesterday, chotzer does not acquire anything for a person if it's to his detriment. If it's something which is a choiva, yeah, let's say a chotzer has some big fat, I don't know, electricity bill or something you're not really interested in getting, your chotzer is not going automatically, because the chotzer is like a shliach. A shliach is only going for a person if the person is interested in the shlichus, not otherwise. And even if you say chotzer is yad is also only kind of things that I want, not things that I don't want. Okay, so we dealt with yesterday this question. This shiur today is, what's the day today? Chaf Beis Av, if I'm not mistaken. Chaf Beis Av. Today is Chaf Beis Av. Yeah, Tafshin Pei Gimel, and we are approaching the last week of Ben Azmanim next week. Let's start the Mishnah. Lilu Nishma Tzavimoyri Menachem Ben Akiva. Says the Heilige Mishnah. A maskir bais lechaveroi leshono. A person rented out a house to his friend for 1 year, and they said, yeah, that for 1 year, the agreement was that for that 1 year you'll pay me $120,000. In other words, they didn't say it's X amount of dollars per month. Yeah, it's an annual payment, and at the end of the year you'll pay me 120,000. It's not monthly payment, as is more accepted. It's an annual payment. Yeah, for 1 year you pay the whole thing together. I think some offices have it. I think big companies work that way today. I've heard once, I'm not sure, but that's the story in the Mishnah. Yes, somebody rents out to his friend, annual fees, for that 1 year, yeah, I'm going to charge so and so. Nisabro hashono. Surprisingly, at some point, yeah, in the year, Beis Din decided that this year will be a leap year. We all know that before we had a set luach by Hillel Lakoton in the times of the Mishnah, it was always a question: will the year have an extra order or not? All of a sudden, the year, yeah, at some point, the year they decided Beis Din that there will be a 13th month this year. Nisabro la soicher. The soicher gains. The soicher does not have, the renter does not have to pay for the 13th month. Why? Because we spoke about a year, and this year happens to have 13 months. We said this year, either the Chiddush is, by the way, the Meforshim say, either it said this year or a year. Yeah, in other words, yeah, like the difference we always have, it does make a difference. If we spoke about a year, and the year became larger all of a sudden, that 1 year, I owe you 120,000, the extra month, I don't have to pay extra. This year expanded, and so now the year I only have to pay you, the soicher only has to pay the maskil not for the 13th month. It's included in the year. However, says the next case, let's say they said the normal way, I am now renting out my apartment to you for the nice little sum of, I don't know, 10,000 shekels a month, 10,000 a month. There's a new month. All of a sudden, there's a 13th month, a second order. Then, of course, the maskir demands, rightfully so, give me an extra month, because you go per month. If you go per month, then the 13th month is a new month. So pay me for this month. Very nice. So far, so good. Comes now story time. Up until now was a halacha without a story. The Ritva says it's a mission of dinim without chidushim. It's dinim, just telling you the practical halacha. Now comes the chiddush. says the Mishnah story. Maise b'tzipoiri. There was a case in Tzipoiri that's up north. A person rented a merchatz, a bathhouse from his friend, b'shneim-asar zohov leshono, with 12 per year. He has to pay him. Yeah, the agreement is that the rental should be 12 golden coins for the year. Dinar zov lechodesh, by paying each month 1 dinar zov. Interesting case, yeah. By paying 1 dinar per month. The case was Reb Shimon ben Gamliel and Rabbi Yosi were presented with the case. What was the case? Came a 13th month. The 13th unexpected month came all of a sudden. It was born Shana Muberes, the leap year. The Amru, and they said, those Heilige Tanoim said, they said that the stoicher and the maskir have to go half-half. In other words, the stoicher only has to pay for half a golden coin instead of another coin. What exactly was the case in this story in the Merchatz of Tzipoiri? We have to know, but right now it looks like it was an annual thing, right? They said there's an annual thing, a rental, and yet we say that they have to go half-half. Practic more straight away. Maise listoil. Why? That Maise, the story you're telling me, is contradicting the first two cases. Now, the Ritva says they're not exactly contradicting. Why? Because if you really read carefully, I read it quickly on purpose, but if you read it carefully, the first case told us what? Annual fees, right? The second halacha was monthly fees. The third case, which was a real case, not stam halacha, was somewhere in between. They mentioned both the year and the month, right? Now that story does not appear in the Reisha. In the Reisha, we have one case of year, a second case of month, and the third case is lekenu kil'aim, something brief. Yeah, there's a ma'isa that doesn't apply to the halacha. The halachas talk to me about a year and a month, or a month. And the third case is some kind of mixture, some kind of shatnez that causes them to go half-half. Why? What's going on over here? Answers the Gemara, Chisur mechser b'achiktani. There's a missing piece in the Mishnah. In other words, there aren't two halachas in one story which is disconnected. There are 3 halachas, and the story relates to the third halacha. And this is how you should read the Mishnah. Ve'im omer loy, third case, b'shneim-asar zehuvim leshono midinar zov lechodesh yachloiku. In other words, they weren't clear. What did he tell him, the owner to the renter? I'm renting it out to you for 12 zehuvim leshono per year. For the entire year, you have to give me 12 golden coins, annual, yearly, and dinar zov lechodesh, which means, then he's saying something else, dinar zov lechodesh, every month, 1 dinar. Everybody knows that, 12 months is 12 zehuvim, yeah? And 1 year has 12 months. So now he's basically dancing on both chasanas over here. What happens in the 13th month when the lotion is so ambiguous? They have to split. In other words, looks like what? We don't know what to do. And basically, Rashi explains to us, this is the gate to a famous halacha, which also appears in Bava Basra, a few places, Tfos loshon rishon or tfos loshon achroin, which means, when a person tells you 2 things, one thing is X, and afterwards he says right away Y, he's giving you 2 messages. He starts off one way, loshon rishon, and then loshon achron. He says something else. There's a question: do we say tfos loshon rishon? Do you catch? Do you absorb? Do you follow the first words, or do you follow the last words? That's the question here. It looks like there are 2 contradictory statements here that were said, told over. It could be there are 2 edim, but still don't know what to follow. Yachloiku. We don't know if you go annual and he doesn't have to pay for the 13th month, or we go monthly and he does have to pay for it. So what do you do? Yachloiku. Are we sumchus people? We're going to see that later. But that's what the Heilige Tanoim said. Rashbag and Rabbi Yosi said, go half regarding the 13th month, which means he'll have to cash how much? Half the month. Let's read the Mishnah now. Everything makes sense now. Let's continue reading the Mishnah with the new reading. And here there's a Maise to support that in the city of Tzipoiri up north. A A person rented a bathhouse from his friend 12 zehuvim per year, and it was annual. And then he said, Medina Zov lechodesh. Yeah, which means he's telling him what? If every month, give me 1 dinar, 1 gold coin per month. And that is contradictory because the question is, what do you mean? Is it a year, including Adar Beis, or is it monthly, excluding Adar Beis? And then Adar Beis came along unexpectedly. The story came, the Maisa came in Beis Din. They came to Beis Din, yeah, the owner of the bathhouse and the renter. The Amru, and they paskind, they have to split the last month. The 13th month has to be split because we don't know what to follow, the first loshon or the second loshon. So what do? You go half. Like sumchus. We'll see later. It's not so simple. What do? Doesn't look like chazaka makes a difference here. There is chazaka here. We ignore chazaka and we say just go half, and life is good. That is the basic reading of the Mishnah. Now we're going to see 3 opinions of Amiroim, how they relate to this Mishnah. Okay? Amarav. We're going to have 3 big dayanim. We're going to have Rav, it wasn't Dayan actually. Rav, Shmuel, and Rav Nachman. Each one has a different take on the Mishnah. Amarav, says Rav, if I was there, if I was present at the assembly of Rashbag and Rabbi Yossi, I would have argued with them. Can Rav argue on Tanoim? Yes. Rav is the only. Rav. He was the first Amoira. Rav saw Rebbe. Yeah. Rav was an Amoira that can argue with Tanoim. Rav Tanupolig, Subas, Chesam, Beis, I think, in many places. Rav got smicha from Rebbe. Rebbe HaKodesh gave smicha to Rav. Yeah, Rab Chia got him, his nephew, to get smicha from Rebbe at the beginning of Sanhedrin. So now Omar Rav, says Rav, yeah, boy, if I was there, I would have said, if I was there, I would have given the 13th month totally, completely to the maskil. What does that mean? Yeah, I would have given it all to the maskil, meaning I would have demanded of the soicher to give the 13th month. Meaning, now you have to remember the case of the Mishnah. Remember almost all the way through. The first loshon was what? A year and then a month. That's easy to remember. The big year, then they said per month. So they're contradicting. Now, says Rav, I would have said the 13th month has to go to the maskil an extra month, right? Meaning you follow the second loshon. I would go monthly. The story, yeah. He argues on the story. He argues on the halacha of the story. Yes, in the yeah. If that story would have come to me, had I been in that Beis Din of my heilige ancestors that I know him, I would have passed it differently. I wouldn't say go half. For me, it's clear that the maskil should have gotten the 13th month, meaning I would follow month. Why would you follow month? Why? My kamash malan, let's continue. Tfois loshon achron. Basically, you're telling me that when you have loshon rishon, loshon achron, you follow the second loshon. Yeah, achron chaviv. Yeah, like toch kedei dibu, like we see it in other places. I'm not saying it's dafka toch kedei dibu, like in tefillah or in edus, but no, something else. No. No. It's not the far. Sorry. Still, we'll see. It's 2 different things. No, it's not the far. Sorry. We'll see. No. Loshen achro, the way the Gemara says over here, it's a big sug in other places. When you have Loshen X, Loshen Y, and they can't live nicely together and peacefully, we follow Y and not X. We follow the second one. Why? There could be different reasons. Could be that's the maskono. That's the last word. Yes, dear. That's the last word. Yeah. That's Loshen achron. That's a more choshev one. And finished. But is that what you're coming to tell me? Is that the big news that Rav is coming to tell me? But his audacious statement, I would have been arguing with the Tanoim because I hold Loshen Achron. Omar Rav Chadazimna. Rav already said it. Chadazimna. What's Chadazimna? 1 time. Rav already said it 1 time. The Omar Rav Huna. Because Rav Huna now quotes Rav. Amri Bei Rav. In the yeshiva of Rav, they said the following. Listen to the following statement. Istera mea ma'i. First, before we continue, the story is about selling an item. Okay, let's just put it simply. That's how Rashi learns it. Let's follow Rashi. Yeah, you ask a person, how much is it? Yeah, I've been to a certain country. I'm online. I don't want to say names of countries. You ask the seller how much the item, you somehow hear three different things. Every second he changes his mind, and it's different currencies. So let's say you go to a store. Yeah, I mean, they're all schwindlers over there. Yeah, you go to the store and you're asking the person, how much is this item? How much is this kafia? Whatever. How much is this? And he's telling you, istera me'amai. He's telling you, the price is istera, a big coin called istera. Istera, unless known otherwise, yeah, we're not going now through the whole hierarchy of the matbeos, of the coins, which Rashi actually here does mention and spoke to many times before. Istera, a regular coin called istera, normally, unless known otherwise, contains in it 96 mo'ois or prutois. Okay, in other words, usually istera is not a fancy big istera of 100. It also exists. Yeah. But it depends. In the times of the Gemara, you have to understand in Mishnah, coins were not like today. The coin had different qualities, right? In other words, you have to see how much it weighs, if it's cracked. Yeah. Today, the actual coin or the bill don't have their own value. Then the actual metal was worth money. Also, they had two systems there. They had Suri and Medina, a bit like American dollar as opposed to Uganda dollar or whatever. They had Suri, which was 8 times more expensive than the Medina. So there are many different ways to look at the same coin. So when you say it's worth $100, you have to know Canadian dollar, American dollar, Australian dollar. Yeah. So now, istera, I'm telling you, how much is it? It's istera me'omai. Istera, which is naturally 96, and then 100 moi, 100 of the small coins of the prutos. How much does he have to give him? Me'omoi. We follow the second lotion. Don't give him 96 like istera. Give him 100. You follow the second lotion. However, me'omai istera, if you change the order and he said, you know how much is kafia worth? 100 moi. And then he said istera, which is really 96, then istera, give him 96. Oh, so what do you see? You see outright, black and white. Rav gave us a whole mice, a whole shmooze over here with matbeos. You followed second lashon, not the first one. So why does Rav have to repeat himself? Amaroim were not chas v'shalom with the newspaper. They repeated something for a reason, and Rav is making a strong statement. Strong statement. I would have argued in a Tanoim, and I would have said no, that really you go by the second lashon of the month, not the year, and therefore he has to pay him an extra month. Rav said it already. Why does he have to say it again? There he said it about coins, and here about rentals. What's the difference? Answers the Gemara. Mehosam. Had he only said mehosam over there, had we only relied on Rav's statement over there, Hava Amina, I would have thought, Rabbeinu, Perushi kamefaresh. Oh, kamash malan. In other words, I would have said, you know why you catch the second lotion over there? Not because this is X and this is Y and they never meet. Because really, as I prepared you before, really every coin has at least 2 values. Stam istera is assumed to be what? 96. However, there is a more expensive istera worth 100 prutos. And therefore, if you say istera me'amoi, you're telling me, you know what kind of istera? The 100 one, the expensive one. You know, dollar, American dollar, not more than Canadian. Yeah, American, not Canadian. Yeah, mefarish quickly what kind of dollar I want. The other way around. But if he said what? He said me'amoi istera. Istera, unless known otherwise, is assumed to be 96. So if I said 100 prutos and I said istera, I really mean 96 prutos. How could that be? Because again, prutos can also be worth less. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I go by the lesser amount. Both istera and mois can be a higher value or lesser value. You go by the second lashon. The second lashon explains the first one. Do I mean the more expensive one, the more valuable one, or the cheaper one? But Lemais, it's an explanation. The second lashon is interpreting the first one. Then Rab said, first lashon achon, like you were saying, interpreting. But when I have glaring stira that cannot be interpreted, cannot be reconciled, is it a year, including the month, or is it a month, 12 months, not including the 13th? You can't make peace over here. Maybe then Rav would have agreed to the Tanoim that you split because you don't know. Kamash malon. Kamash malon. Dov Metzia kuf Beis Amud Beis Raboisai. Kamash malon what? That even when you have two contradictory statements completely, no way to make peace between them. Says Rav, I'm a diehard, true blue, first Lashon Achroin person. And I argue with the Tanoim. And therefore, I think that if you have a year versus a month, actually, what would be the other way around? Let's say they spoke about a month and then a year. What would be then? Rav would then support the soicher, the renter. So you don't have to pay much. Why? Because the second lotion was one big lump sum of what? One global sum of a year. Then you don't have to pay the extra. Rav says, I believe the second lotion, whatever happens through fire or water, and that is definitely a chiddush that you only overhear here over here, and not from the story of the coins, because there was up to interpretation. Here it's not up to interpretation. Very good. That's opinion number one, Rav. Yeah, happy? Question time. A lot of questions have been asked here about different ways to interpret why I told him 1 year. You know what? That's the chiddush of the Mishnah. When I read the Mishnah, my question was, what's the chiddush of the Mishnah? Elma, you guys are coming with very creative ideas why 1 year may include that he wants the whole year and you can't leave in the middle, or it means this and that. Fine. Comes the Mishnah, tells me, not like that. The Mishnah comes and tells me that when a person knows, you think like nowadays, but back then, at the beginning of every year, at the beginning of every Nisan, yeah, you scratch your head not knowing, will there be a second order, won't be there a second order, you know, how long will be this man in Koilil, will there a second, that, oh, and he says a year, is Mistam becoming to include the second order. That's the Chiddush of the Mishnah. How goof is that? Kach nirali. And not all the other interesting. Your question, I can hear you're asking a good question. Why don't we follow the Roiv? Let's say we know that, you know, most years are not. I don't know. Roiv is only when you don't have clarification. Could be that the word year goof. I have an answer to you. You're asking a question. Roiv years are not Shana Muberes. So let's assume the what that he thought the year won't be Muber, right? A Roiv is only, you only follow Roiv when you don't have clarity. I don't know if the guy killed or didn't kill, or follow Roiv of Beis Din. I don't know if the Chatich has kosher or treif, follow. Here, that's Kilo Biru. When a person says a year and doesn't talk monthly, which is weird, he goofa mentions a year in order to include the last month. And that could be why he got cold feet and later said, I'm asking for a month, because he doesn't want to lose. I think that's the answer. His lotion is mevarer. We don't have to follow the Roiv. Roiv is when you don't have another biru. Baruch Hashem. Shkoich. Good. Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful questions. Second Shita, Shmuel. Shmuel argues in Rav, Hidalkoi, the Shmuel Omar, the Bob, the Emtza Chodesh Askina. Says Shmuel like this. Shmuel, first of all, cares about Chazaka. Chazaka is a very important factor by Shmuel. And Shmuel says, I'm not arguing in the Tanoim, I'm interpreting them. You know, when the Heilig Tanoim, Rabbi Yossi and Rashbag said that should go half-half when they have a dispute about the 13 months, you know when is that? When he came in the middle of the month, Purim. On Purim he came, and who came to who? He came to him, not drunk. Who came to who? The landlord came to the renter and said, are you still here? And you didn't pay me? Let's say he knows he's not going to pay him. Either pay me, yeah, or ship out. Ship up or ship out. And, you know, stop drinking in my house. Get out of my house or pay me. And the other guy says, Mapitom, you crazy? It's included. We spoke about a year. And they argue about Rishon or Achron, who the Maskir and the Soicher, and he came and lived with them none. So what would Chachamim say? Chachamim said, Chazaka. Chazaka, however you want to call it, Cheskas. Well, what's a Chazaka? Listen, in the middle of the month, let's assume that every day you live in someone's house, or even every minute, remember we spoke about Me'ilah, the roof over your head is worth money every second. Yeah, you live in a fancy place in Ramat Eshkol, every minute I think is worth a shekel there. Yeah. So now, oh, very good. If you came in the middle of the month, two weeks already are in the pocket of the renter. He didn't pay for them. So whatever he has in his pocket, the 2 past weeks, he doesn't have to pay. But if he wants to stay there from now on, he wants to take away the karka, so to speak, from the person. Yeah, the karka is muchzak where? The landlord. You want to come or continue your stay for the next 2 months. It wasn't yet muchzak. It's not muchzak by you. Every moment you kilo renew your rental. You want to kilo renew your rental for the last 2 weeks of the month? No. Leave or pay. Why? Because now we say that the karka is muchzak by the, what's his name? By the landlord. It'll be much clearer when we see the next 2 cases. But for now, let's just accept it. In the middle of the month, it's half-half. Whatever he already was marviach by staying there for the 2 weeks, we don't kick him, you can't kick him out, and you're not going to charge for it. The money is in the pocket of who? Of the renter. The renter. That's where the money is. That money we're not taking from him. The money of the 2 weeks that he saved. But from now on, the 2 next weeks, the 2 following weeks, you want to stay here and take away kilo the land from the landlord, to take away the karka that he's muhzak. Each one has chazako. He's muhzak over the money, and the landlord's over the land. The next 2 weeks you have to pay for. And now we see it much clearer. Aval, however, let's say the dispute was that it should be at the beginning of the month. Not such big simcha. Nichnas Adar, right away in Rosh Chodesh, they have a question. The maskil says, pay me for this upcoming month now, extra. Of course, we go by Loshan Achron, 12 months. And the Soicha says, Ma pitom, it's a global year. It's a general thing, blanket. And therefore, I won't pay you anything. Oh, Chilas Chodesh, then what do we say? He should pay him. Why should he pay him? You know why he should pay him? Who's muhzak in the land? Of course, the landlord. Everybody knows that the land belongs to the landlord. That's not a question. You want to kilo re-enter the land for another extra month? You want to be mechadish. You kilo want to be moitzi his land from him for free. And he says, no, I'm not giving you my land unless you pay me. Oh, Ki'ilu, who's muhzak here? The landlord is muhzak over the land. And therefore, you want to take it from him? Pay him 11,000 shekels now for the month. Mashenkin ba b'soif chodesh kula l'soicher. Mashenkin, if he came at the end of the month, Purim is over, and now it's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And then what happens? They come, and the renter says, excuse me, 12 months you pay me? 13 months. It's the end of 13 months. Pay me for the 13 months. What? Mapitam, says the renter. The last month, the other base, it's included, and they start fighting. Then we say, no, the Seicher remains with his money, muhzak in his pocket, in his bank account, because now the entire month has passed. What's the argument about? Those 11,000 shekels, 10,000 shekels of the last month that are what? That are held in the bank account of Mr. Seicher. Then the muhzokis is on the money. You, Mr. Maskir, want to take money out of the Seicher? And then the muhzokis is his. In other words, it's a game of Bekitzer. Shmuel says, I don't give a care about Loshen Rishon, Achron, or Loshen, or my grandma. All I care about is muhzakus. Or, I wouldn't say I don't care, I have a suffix. Let's put it more mildly, not so crass. Rashi says, really, Shmuel says, I don't know, and the Tanakh didn't know either. But I don't think that we always, it's not Sumchus world here where we split half-half. You go by Chazaka, you go by who's muhzak. If the question is in the money in the pocket of Mr. Renter, then it stays by the renter. If the question is on the land, can he go into the land for free, the land of the maskir, then it stays by the maskir, and you get out of here or pay Mr. Seicher. When did the Tanoim say half-half? When it's the middle of the month. Middle of the month is half this and half that. That's what Shmuel believes is Mesupak about Rishon or Achron. And what? And the case of the Mishnah is when it came in the middle of the month. So Shmuel doesn't argue in the Tanoim, but he more diplomatically explains what they say. But he argues on Rav. Rav is a diehard, true blue Loshen Achron. And Shmuel says, I don't know. So I learned in Cheder, Chazaka. Depends who's machzik, him or him. Frek the Gemara, Yomi Shmuel. Are you sure? Didn't we learn in Bava Basra that Shmuel, are you telling me here that Shmuel does not believe like Rav in Tfos Loshen Achron, they always follow the second statement? Is that so? The Rav Ushmuel. Look at the following statement. We saw it 3 times in Bava Basra. Rav Shmuel Damit Avayu. This is about selling. Yeah? We all know that once a deal is done, you did Meshicha. Well, let's just give a small and very, very clear and easy introduction. You and I decided on the price. I'm selling you this very nice cup over here with a tea. Yeah. And I'm selling it to you for how much? Yeah, 10 shekels. Yeah, buy. Used. Okay, 10 shekels the cup. And we decided, and now you do Hagbo on the cup. I can't go back on it. And I can't tell you now 15. And he can go back, right? That's very, very simple. What about if I'm selling you 50 cups? Yeah. And from some reason, yeah, you have to be moishech one after the other, or do Hagbo one after the other. Yeah. That's already a different question. Why is it a different question? Look at the following Loshen. Koir, I want to sell you a koir. A koir is a big amount. The koir contains 30 saw. Yeah, no, yes, the core is 10 cell. Core is 10 cell. Core includes 10 same. So I'm selling you wheat, yeah, amount of core. It's a big amount. For shloishim sela, yeah, for shloishim sela, for the amount of 30 sela. Sela is a coin. I'm selling you the core. Ani moicher lecho. Yeah, very nice. Core b'shloishim ani moicher lecho. In other words, I'm selling you one lump quantity of kol for 30 saw. Let's say I started pulling them one after the other. I can't pick a whole kol. You think my name is Arnold? No, it's not. I can only take one saw, one at a time. One saw, second saw. I did Meshicha into a simta, into my house, into chotzer, into something. And then, by the last one, by the 10th one, I actually say, before I finish the 10th one, I regret. It's not good quality. I don't like the color of your nose. No, I'm revoking. I'm regretting. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Why? Because we didn't speak about one saw separately. We spoke about a core as one lump thing, as one inclusive thing. Core. As long as the entire core wasn't pulled, it's as if you pulled half the cup, not the entire cup. Yeah, it's kilu the mashiach the kin. It applies to everything together because the verbal agreement was about one core. As long as the whole core, I divided it to 10 different units. As long as the last unit wasn't yet pulled, wasn't a nikne, I can regret because the core wasn't yet pulled. It's as if I pulled half your donkey and not the whole donkey. Let's say, yeah, it's not a joke. Let's say you have to pull you have to pull, let's say, the entire length of the donkey, according to I think Rav in the Mamoicher. Yeah, I pulled half the donkey, I can be choizer. Very good. What's the chiddush? Here comes the chiddush. Koir b'shloishim so, koir b'shloishim, comma, sell b'sela ani moicher lecho. Get that? He says, I'm selling you one koir for 30, yeah? So b'sela. Each saw in a sela, right? Yeah? I'm sorry, it says 30. The 30 saw in a sela. Eighthos, 10 eighthos. Is 10 eighthos in 30. Let's get all of stuff. I'm sorry. No, one koir includes 30 sawing. Sorry. One core is 30 sawing. So I pulled one saw, another saw, another saw. If we spoke about one global core, I can always regret. But what about if you said core b'shloishim? Again, double ocean. I'm selling you one core for 30. Saw b'sela. Yeah. 1 second. Let's allow the people in. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fine. What do we say then? Then we say Rishon kono. In other words, it's not clear if I'm selling you all the coal together in one lump thing, or I'm selling you 30 units of saw, each saw worth a sela, ambiguous. What do we say? Rishon kono, which means you pulled into your domain or your chotzer or hagad b'meshicha, you did one, freeze right there, you can't regret, which means we deal with each one separately, right? When I know it's global for sure, I can regret till the end. But when we said global and then we said individual, we treat it as individual. We treat it as individual and we say, oh, Mimela, once you pulled one bag of wheat, which is one saw, done deal. The second one, done deal. You want to regret the rest? Fine. But what you pulled, you can't regret. For Shenkin, if it's global, I can regret even those that I pulled because the all Ki'ila never pulled the whole thing together yet. So what do you see clearly? First Lashon Achron, right? He said big, then he said small. We follow the small. That's Lashon Achron. So again, now it's a contradiction. Because over here Shmuel says, I don't know what to do, I'm not sure, right? And therefore, go with Chazaka. There Shmuel seems to be adamant with Rav, which here is his opponent. There Shmuel joined Rav's party and said, yeah, I'm a true blue what? Lashon Achron man. What's going on here? Answers the Gemara, simple. Hostam over there, time am I. You know why there he said that you follow the last Lashon? Not because of Lashon Achron. Mishum de Tofis. Achanamika Tofis. Very, very simple. Exactly. Very good. Beautiful. Over there, when I pulled the chitim, I have 30 small boxes of chitim. I pulled one, and I say, I want to regret. Yeah, I want to regret that, whatever, the Kenyan that I did. And you say, no, no regrets. It says, Shmuel, no, you can't regret what you bought. You know why is that? Because I'm toifus. It's a very funny kind of tfisa. Usually a person who owns something wants to own it. Here, no, we leave things as they are. That's pshat in chazaka. I told you many, many times. Chazaka is either biru, a logical clarification, or just leave things as they are. It's anhoga. That's what the Achronim say. Here we say the anhoga. In other words, if we have a question whether the box that I pulled should stay mine or can be regretted and returned to the seller, yeah, then we say we don't know. Depends Loshen Rishon or Achron, which is always Shmuel's Sofek, and then we say leave things as they are. How are they? The money is in his pocket, and the small box which I'm not interested in is in my pocket. Leave things as they are. Achonami katofis. Here too, that's exactly Shmuel's logic. It's very, very consistent. Here too, we say whoever caught. The one who's muchzak with the money, which is the renter, keeps the money. In such a case, in a case where the Shiur did not yet begin of the 13th month, then the land belongs to the masker. We want to take away his land for free, then we leave the karka by the landowner. We always leave things and items, karka, mominus, whatever, as they are, because we don't know which lashon to be toifes, because of here that's a biru. When we don't know lashon rishon, lashon achron, we follow the chazaka. Now I can ask you a question, maybe follow the roiv. That's interesting. But Chazal say follow the chazaka, which is more leave things as they are. What? Yes. Yes. Rav Nachman, third opinion. Rav Nachman is similar to Shmuel, which actually, when I think of it, is not surprising. Rav Nachman and Shmuel were always together. Rav Nachman was the Talmud of Shmuel, and Rav Nachman was also dying, I think, in his Beis Din. What? Rav Nachman is on Shmuel's team. Rav Nachman is not exactly like Shmuel, is Shmuel with a tweak. Rav Nachman Omar, Karka b'cheskes be'alel kayemes. Rav Nachman says no. Rav Nachman says, I believe in Chazaka. I believe you, Shmuel. I agree with you, Shmuel. I don't know Rishon or Achron. Now, however, I think that the Karka should always, the right guy should be the maskil. Yeah? The maskil should always be the one to be the right one. Why? Because the Karka belongs to him. Because the Karka is muchzak by him, Imela, the Karka stays his, and if you, Mr. Renter, want to live there, you have to pay. The question is obvious. Excuse me. Depends if you came at the beginning of the month or the end of the month, right? Meaning, what did Shmuel say? Shmuel said, let's say that's the beginning of the month, middle of the month, end of the month. If you came at the beginning of the month, says Shmuel, wait, beginning of the month, you want to take away his land from him, so to speak? You want to use up the land belonging to him, muchzak by him, for free? Prove it. If you didn't prove it, achon, rishon, achon, then what? Then we say, pay. At the end of the month, you live there already. Says Rashi, how do you say it in English? What's been? What's been already in the past? Yalla, it's water all under the bridge already, and the living itself. Now, what's the question at the end of the month? The question is on the money. The money is in the pocket of the renter, and you, Mister, the one who's the moitzi, the one on the losing side is the balabais. You want to try and get out money out of his pocket? Prove it. Rishon, Rishon, you can't prove it. Therefore, you cannot force him to pay. Says Rav Nachman, that's wrong. Says Rav Nachman, no, there's something very unfair in the way Shmuel looks at it. Why? Because Rav Nachman says, when did the Suffolk really start? At the beginning of the month. The beginning of the month, they should have come to Beis Din at the beginning of the month to clarify what's happening with that upcoming month. And the Suffolk's roots, the roots of the Suffolk, now at the end of the month, you're coming to me and saying, hey, I already lived there. What's prove? What do you mean? You live there illegally. Because my chazaka was there at the beginning of the month, and I'm the landlord. You snatched it out of my hands because I was busy with, I don't know, my sick daughter in hospital or something. I was away for a month. You lived there. But the suffix was right from the start. That's when the suffix was born. You snatched away my land from me for a month, which was muchzak by me and always was and will be. Now it's already, the living is kilu in your pocket. The money is in your pocket. Now you're calling me the landlord. That's not fair, says Rav Nachman. Therefore, Rav Nachman says, I believe Shmuel that you go bechazako. But as opposed to Shmuel, regardless of the point in history, we always said that the moitzim chavero is who? is the renter. You're taking from him. You came too late. That's worse. You stole my land from me, meaning you stayed there without mevarer, the honest truth, for a month. Now you're playing the Motzei Mechaver game on me. Oh, sorry, says Rav Nachman. Frag the Gemara. So soon I'm going to summarize the three shitos, but first we have a question on Rav Nachman. Frag the Gemara. My Kamashmalan. At the end of the day, what's Rav Nachman holding in the story? Tfos lo shanachron. In other words, in this case, at the end of the day, you can call it all kinds of nice philosophies and fair, unfair, chazaka. At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, tachlis inter tashire, what do you say? Who's always right? First and beginning of month is what? Is the balabais, the landlord, the maskil. So you really say tfos lo shanachron, meaning at the beginning he said year, then he said month, right? So we follow the month. We will always demand of him to pay for the 13th month. It's true, it's because of chazaka. But at the end of the day, you are exactly like Rav. Hainu de Rav. So at the end of the day, Rav Nachman, with all your interesting svaris, at the end of the day, you're siding with Rav Nachman exactly. So why do you have to voice your opinion? Is there a real nafkamina between Rav Nachman and Rav? What would be the nafkamina? Quick. The nafkamina is clear. Afagav de apich meipach. Avad is a huge clear nafkamina. Very good, beautiful. Ashlam. What? Let's say the change the lotion. I told you that before already. Let's say the month was meant, the months with an S at the end was mentioned first, and then the year. According to Rav, if I change the order, Rav is the true blue one. Which shirt is Rav wearing? Achon, I don't care, month, year, grandmother. Last one, yeah, Achron Choviv. The last word, the final word, that's it. I don't care, month, year, and it could be sometimes balabais, could be sometimes will be the maskil. Depends if the last loshon is year or month. That's Rav. That's not Rav Nachman. No way. No, Rav Nachman will tell you that let's say the last loshon would work better for the soicher. Says Rav Nachman, I don't care. I would still side with the maskil, not the soicher, as opposed to Rav, because I believe the maskil is always right. Not that he's right, but I don't know Achron Rishon. I'm not such a true blue guy. I'm like Shmuel. I don't know Achron Rishon, and therefore I hold that the chazaka is always the maskil. So at the end of the day, I'll be always pro maskil. Let's summarize the three shitos. Yeah, who wants to summarize for me? Okay, I'll do it myself. According to Rav, we say what? First Lashon Achron. Always Rav is simple, Lashon Achron, and that's about it. According to Shmuel, no. Shmuel says depends on what. We don't know what Rishon or Achron. We follow Chazaka. And Chazaka, there are two Chazakas. If the Chazaka is on the Karka, the Bala Karka is the winner, the Maskil. If the question is on the money, because he lived it already, he lived Kilu through it, he lived, then we say what? The question is, will I take out his money or not? Then the money in his pocket of the renter, the landlord wants to take out, then we say the renter is right, and the renter doesn't have to pay retroactively. And Rav Nachman says, I'm also mesupek like Shmuel, I don't know Rishon or Achron, but I believe that the only real muchzakir is the muchzokus in the karka. Muchzokus on the money, he came too late and in an unfair way. Very good. Bomine, 1 second please, I'll have to make a short pause. Okay. Rav Nachman Omar, okay. No, we said that already. Bomine Rabbi Yanai. Bomine Rabbi Yanai. Bav Metzia Kuf Beis Amud Beis. A question that they asked Rabbi Yanai. Yeah, and the question is, who is believed if, let's say, there's a dispute, there's a question whether technically the rental was paid or wasn't paid. Yeah, let's leave the question. Soicher Omar Nosati, the renter says, I already gave you the rental. Let's say it's an annual rental. To make it simple, let's say he's supposed to pay him once a year, okay? And he says, I gave it. There are no Eidim, no star, no receipt, very foolish. But that was the Metzias. Yeah, the Soicher says, I already gave you, paid you the rental money. I never got that, says the maskil. The landlord says, I never got any money from you. Okay, good question. Al mila haviraya, who should bring the raya? Yeah, not so simple. Who should prove? Who's the one that has to prove the point? Frag the Gemara Amos. Depends when the question actually rose. When did the question happen? Amos, what would you say? You don't understand the question. Nu, for was nicht? Which Moitzim Chaveroi? Karka or money? Karka or money? There are two chazokas here, my friend. There are two chazokas. He's muchazak on the karka, and the karka wasn't paid when he was bought 10 years ago, and he's muchazak on the money. There are two chazokas. Amos. Let's advance. A nice question here, but Amos, when is that? If it's within the time, it's actually halacha. Halacha says, halachically, that's also accepted today, I think. Yeah, that when you rent a place, meaning you're the renter, you pay at the end of the month. Yeah, at the end of the like salaries. Yeah, you pay at the end of the month. So now, or in this case, the end of the year. The end of the year, whichever year, the years between, let's say, Kislev and Kislev of next year, came the end of Kislev, Hanukkah, and what? And you paid, yeah, you're supposed to pay at the end of the year. Let's say the dispute happened in Tishrei. That's when they found time to fight. Then, Tnina, it's mefurish in a Mishnah, somewhere else, what the halacha is, also Tnina. In other words, why do you have a question, Bechlal? What's the halacha? We have unclarity about payment. We're going to bring a Mishnah soon, very soon. It shows to you that there's a difference. There's a difference whether the dispute of I already paid what I owe happened before due date, or if it happened after due date. That's going to be the proof. Datnan. And we're going to also understand the reason why. Datnan. It says in the Mishnah. Now, the question is about Pidyon Ben. Yeah, not science fiction. The person is Baal Tshuva, and he realizes after a few months in Or Sameach or Eshet Torah that he's a bchor halachically, and from some odd reason, he's not sure why. He's thanking Hashem. His parents did bris milah. That's nice enough. No pidyon ben. So does he have to do pidyon ben? Yes, he has to be paid himself. He's calling whatever, Los Angeles. Yeah, what the coin? I know. Rappaport was a coin that I used for my son, actually. My own son, Pidyon Ben, the coin was called Rappaport, the Ger Chosid, yeah. So the kid, no, you know about that. So now, what? Yeah, so now, no. So you call dad and mom, no, didn't do Pidyon Ben. So I have to do Pidyon Ben for myself. That's clear. However, let's say there's a suffix. Let's say we don't know whether the father did Pidyon Ben or didn't. Traditional. My parents are kind of people who may have done Pidyon Ben. Do I have to do Pidyon Ben? Costs money, and a caterer. Joking, it doesn't have to cater yet. So I'm saying, do I have to do Pidyon Ben if I'm not sure whether my parents did Pidyon Ben or not? That's worse to be in the Sophic, yeah? So now, Zok the Mishnah in B'choyres, Memhei, I think. Meiso Av, B'toch Shloshim Yoim. Let's say we know, Lo Leinu, that the father of that baby, now an adult, died before the baby is 30 days old. Now you have to know the reason why we do Pidyon Ben only when the baby's 30. Maker then you could have done Pidyon Ben before. The chiyuv is straight away, but because the first 30 days we're always concerned the baby may die, lo aleinu, because at the first 30 days it's like still shaky, touch and go whether the baby will live or die. Especially nowadays, also in third world countries, a lot of death by babies. So I'm saying the first 30 days we're still not sure. So wait until Vada is a bori, is for sure bori and muchzak and everything. Is bori healthy, and then what? And then you do Pidyon Ben. But conceptually, if one does Pidyon Ben before 30 days, it works. Yeah, it's shaykh. It's not like doing bris milah on the third day, which is a big problem. So now, if the father of that used to be baby died before he reached the 30th day, then bechezkas shaloi nifta. We don't know. Did daddy do Pidyon Ben or not? Nobody knows. We assume we're machzik that he did not do Pidyon Ben before the 30th day. Why? Ad shaviraya shel nifta. Unless the baby, who now may be 30 years old, brings a proof, edim or something, that know that it was nifta. Why? Because as I told you, you can do Pidyon Ben before the 30th day. But since Lamaisa, only the 30 days it's customary to do it, and for a good reason, people don't like, Lamaisa, it's money. You pay 5 sloim to the coin. To get it back from the coin is a big problem. People do it, it's not so simple at all. You're supposed to buy 5 nice coins, cost you money, you give it to the coin. It's a debt. It's a debt to Shevet HaKehuna. Rashi points out, like we always say, it's not a debt to a specific coin, but it's a debt to the tribe of Kohanim. So the father says, oh, let me deal with a bris milah, bituach leumi, hospital, bet achlama. The debt of 5 sloim, I'm a little guy. Wait until the 30th day. I'm not rushing to pay. People don't rush to pay their debts before, it's really due date. Says Resh Lakish at the beginning of Bava Basla, Daf, hey, Bov. He says, a Labai person would pay on time. Zirchid doesn't pay before the time. B'chlok is Resh Lakish against the Bava. Here we seem to be better with Resh Lakish. We assume you didn't pay your debt before the time. Let's say the guy knows, the adult knows that the father died after 30 days, and the father was a frum person, knowledgeable, and the father died after his baby was 30 days old. The father is not alive now to tell the tale, but we know that the father was around when the baby was a month old. Then the assumption is he paid his debt, i.e. 5 sloim to the kohen, unless people tell him, reliable people tell him, no, we know your father was not paid. You know why? Rashi says, on his deathbed, he asked us to do pidyon haben, and we didn't. Yeah? Lamaise, what do we see from here? Clearly, it's human psychology. The truth, it's more complicated here, but I'm not going. Tosa says something here. But Lamaise, the Poshet Pshat is to pay your debt before due date is rare and not accepted and assume that you didn't. You may say, in this case, we say it's Poshet Chazaka, out of Chazaka and Ansahadi. We know that people don't pay before the time, before they're meant to. So if the renter says, I already paid it, I come to him before the end of the rental, before due date, before time is up, I paid it. No, we don't assume, unless you bring raya, we assume he didn't pay it, and that's enough to take money from his pocket because the chazaka is stronger that he probably didn't pay it because that's human nature. Unless he proves it, give me a receipt, give me something. If it's le'achar ma'aseh, I'm dafka saying what I'm saying. Let's say due date is Aleph Tevis and I come to him in Beis Tevis, then he's believed to say that he already paid it. Why? Because Enochinami, it's rental. You want to take out, Natzvi is right. You want to take money out of my pocket. No, people are muchzak to pay their debts on time. Alevai. But that's, as long as you didn't prove I didn't pay, you can't come and tell me you didn't pay. I pay on time. I'm muchzak to pay on time, unless you prove otherwise, unless you show I don't pay on time other times. But I pay on time, prove otherwise. So what's your question? Why did they ask the question? Why did the people of Rabbi Yanai, they're not like you and me. Rabbi Yanai people, Talmidim, why did they ask a question, which is a Mefusha Mishnah? Lo Yitzricha answers the Gemara. There was a question, the Yomi de Mishlam Zimne. It was on the day, which means 2 o'clock. Let's say the day of payment is Aleph Tevis, Tafshin Pei, hey. Yeah, Aleph Tevis. I come to him 4 o'clock, no, that's winter. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Mincha, 3:15 in Avas Shalom. I come to him and I say, the annual rent. I gave you already 9 o'clock in the morning. It's hours within the same day. The actual day itself of due date, not before, which you won't pay, not after, which you already paid. On the day itself, the question is, do we assume that you paid right in the morning, first thing in the morning, if I come to you in the afternoon, yes or no? Do we assume that people pay on the day or maybe a day later, at the end of the day? They buy time for the quickly run to the Gmach to get a loan? Do we say that they pay on the day itself, or no? That's a question which we're going to see tomorrow in Metzia Hashem. Thank you very much, Atzlocho Rabba. Thank you to everybody here in Avos Shalom. Thank you to all our viewers in Torah Anytime, Kololoshon, and our YouTube channel. Thank you, Atzlocho Rabba. I'm sorry I'm not looking in the camera because I'm looking at the Heligo people over here, but of course our viewers at home are very valued. Thank you very much, Atzlocho Brocho L'chol Ha'inyonim, and have a good Chaf Beis Av.